Well, Tommy, what would Hockey Fest Night 3 be without an overtime game? We got to have one every night, and we have one for you here tonight on Nesson. Joining me, Fern Flaman, who spent 20 years behind the bench at Northeastern, and I just said to him, you know, you look younger now than you did when you retired from coaching.
Well, I don't have as much to worry about, that's for sure, and things have been going very good for me, so I got no complaints.
As a coach, when you watch a third period like that, I noticed Sean Walsh and Jackie Parker, when they saw those penalties called and the opposite team went on the power play, they were about to jump over the boards. Now, you wouldn't have a reaction like that, would you?
I know exactly what the feeling is because I've gone through some of those, and it's the penalties that are going to win games for teams, and they're going to lose them for teams. And this is what happened out here tonight. Some of the penalties, I don't think they were warranted, really, and the other team capitalized on them. But it's been a tremendous game. It's been very exciting and a lot of body checking, and the goaltenders both have been terrific.
Your former Northeastern team really did a heck of a job in this tournament, knocking off BC and then giving Maine all they could stand before losing. You had to feel a little bit of a sentiment watching those games. I know you've been around the Garden the whole weekend. Well,
I have been. I saw the last couple of periods of the Huskies game, and my heart was with them. Just a little short, but I thought they played a tremendous game. And if it's a forerunner of what's to come for next year, I heard they've had a good recruiting season, and what they've got coming back, I think they should be a very fine club.
Certainly the Huskies are going to, I think, have some momentum going into next season after their efforts in this tournament. Let's turn our attention to what you're doing these days. I know you're not just here as a spectator. You are here as a scout of sorts with the New Jersey Devils. What do you see out there in terms of players with potential for the NHL?
Well, there are some players out there that are draftable this coming year, and I'm not the only scout. I think there's probably about 24 of us here, and we're all probably watching the same person. But there are a few other kids that are a little younger, and you're kind of watching them just to see their potential for the draft possibly the following year. But I'm on a special assignment basis with the Jersey Devils, and it's a part-time thing, which it keeps me busy. I don't do too much, but I do get out and spend some time in the college rinks and also high school rinks.
Specifically, what does a team like the Devils look for in a college player when they're trying to assess his potential for the transition to the NHL?
Well, you're watching him skate, and you're watching him how he uses his hands and how he plays a man. I've been watching defensemen mainly, and how they play in their own zone. As of late, defensemen have been more or less offensive, and I'm kind of looking for the guy that kind of stays back and helps his goaltender, and I think that's something that the Jersey Devils need. I think we have a tremendous amount of offensive defensemen, and if we could get somebody that go back and anchor and help that goaltender, I think it'd be much better for our team.
So there is still a place for the defensive defenseman, the stay-at-home guy in the New Jersey Devils organization.
Well, I think there is, not only theirs, but I've seen quite a few National Hockey League games, and I think a defensive defenseman is a prize, and I think a lot of the younger kids should start devoting their time to being a defensive defenseman because there's a lot of room for them.
All right, some good advice from Fern Flaman.